ignorant for a minute, but we're all good now. So today's cooking at home menu is going to be hamburger steak. If you don't know what that is, it is literally just a hamburger patty with sauteed. Remember the pepper from when I did the meatloaf and I had so much bell pepper left? This is the bell pepper. So I'll be chopping that up. I put it in the freezer. Onion and mushrooms. And then we're going to also whip up some of my grandmother's quickest rolls, which take literally 3 seconds to throw together. So let's get this started. First up, I got to grab the bowl. And I told you today's was going to be the easiest, and it is. Let me grab this. This is probably the fastest meal to throw together ever. I know this is probably incorrect, but this is how I do the onions, to peel them. And today I'm not going to be dicing onion, I'm just going to be cutting it into rings because we're going to saute it after we saute the ground beef. And we're getting ready to pat that out in just a second. Okay, so I always cut it in half so that I have a nice flat section to work with here. Doesn't matter how rough it is. I'm going to put it over here in a bowl to await its turn in the cast iron because the hamburger meat has to get fried first. And next up, just button mushrooms. And you can use any mushroom you like. Mushrooms are not up here yet, so these are store-bought mushrooms. And no, I don't worry about anything when I buy mushrooms. So is hamburger steak, I'm not sure I can see live chat, but is hamburger steak something that you guys, I'm going to turn on live chat so I can see the answers. Do you make this often? It's something that I make probably a couple times a month just because it is one of the fastest throw together meals you can have, and it requires little to no prep as long as you keep a well-stocked pantry like with your onion and pepper and stuff. And you don't have to be perfect on getting these sliced. You can buy them pre-sliced if that's what you like. I really like to use shiitake, but our logs aren't putting out right now. And the store didn't have any. So it is what it is. If you're doing a vegan diet, you can fry these outside of the beef fat and saute them with peppers and onions and then a little bit of soy sauce, and you've got like a little mushroom stir fry there, and it's so good. So you're watching me do this, guys. It's not gonna take very long, and hopefully if this isn't something you already do, you'll start because you'll be like, oh my gosh, she threw that together in no time flat, and it had lots of good for you stuff in it. Now, I was going to make a mushroom gravy, but my husband told me not to because he prefers to eat his without gravy, and he also said it would save me time, and he ain't wrong, so I'm with that program. Okay, now let me grab up those frozen bell peppers real quick, just some of them, not all of them. So if you remember, I had bell pepper left over when I made meatloaf the other day. Also, the meatloaf that we had left over, we froze, and it's going to make another appearance here later in the week. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to have the meatloaf sandwiches made with that frozen leftover meatloaf. So if you too had some left over, pop it in the freezer. Don't discard it. We don't waste food around here. And prepare. So my daughter asked me what type of potato that we will be having with this meal, and the answer to that is leftover mashed potato masterpiece. If you were in on our stupid Instagram live when we made it, then you have that recipe. If not, you can get that recipe when Mark's new cookbook comes out on the 31st of March. But it's a really simple, it was using leftover mashed potatoes that we had from the day before. Okay. Sorry for all the noise, guys. This is real life. So, all over here in this big bowl, I have, let me flip on the light so you guys can see. I have my onions, mushrooms, and that green bell pepper that we had left and I froze. Next up, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the hamburger meat. Do you hear my littlest puppy dog out there acting like she's fierce? So we package our own hamburger. And it doesn't come in fancy packages, but I think this is a 1 pound pack. And that'll do just fine for today because only Mark and Bea are eating the meat. So I'm going to show you something. I am a cheater when it comes to how I make hamburger patties. I literally do not care if they are round. Just put them in there and press them out. There's a, I forget who it is. There's a restaurant that makes square burgers too. This one actually needs to be divided because it's a little thicker. So this one will get to be round, guys. But that front part was not quite as thick. So therefore, it didn't get to be round. I just pulled it out. Okay. Turn my eye on, and I'm gonna go wash my hands real fast. Okay. So now I'm gonna come back over there, and if you wanted to, you could totally spice up your burger before you like make the balls and pat out the patties. But not gonna lie, I'm lazy. Okay, some salt in there. That looks like a lot of salt, but I promise it's not a lot of salt. It will end up tasting fine. Next up, I'm gonna grab just a little tiny bit of our garlic. And to make your homemade garlic powder, all you have to do is grow you some garlic, then you peel it out, slice it up, dehydrate it, then put it in a spice grinder, and bam, you have garlic powder. No rocket surgery involved. Okay. Now, that will start frying up in just a second. And grab my trusty, I'm gonna spread this out a little bit because it like piled up. It didn't sprinkle. That is one thing about homemade, anything that's spice, is it doesn't have the anti-caking agents in it. So it absolutely will cake a little bit, including your garlic. But I would rather have that problem than the what the crap is in this problem, so. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you something. I always put the grease spatter shield on. And I'm going to do that today. And I can't find it, so I'm going to use this. So that's going to be my grease spatter shield. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make the quick rolls. They don't take long. Let me make sure there's nothing wrong. Fun fact, in Appalachia, cast iron is stored in the oven. If you turn on your oven to preheat it and it has cast iron in it, it takes about 33 years to preheat, so don't do that. Make sure it's empty always. Let me grab a bowl to make our quick rolls in. Okay, so here's my bowl. I'm going to grab 2 cups of self-rising flour, and I'm going to put a pinch of salt in here too, just so you see it happen. Self-rising flour. Let me grab it. Okay, and next up, I'm going to set my bowl over here. You probably cannot see it, but I'm going to try to turn you so that you can see what's going on over there. So I'm going to set my bowl right here. And next up, I've got to get 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise together. I don't care what kind of mayonnaise you use. It's your house, you choose. We put a mayonnaise recipe in the cookbook if you want to use that one. If you don't, whatever mayonnaise you like. A lot of people like Duke's. I'm not crazy about Duke's. That was 3. Okay, 1 more. And you can see how scientific I am with this, guys. It doesn't matter. It's just bread. It will be okay. All right. Next up, we're going to add about a cup of milk. And then I'm going to look at it. Okay. And I'm going to preheat my oven to 400. The burgers are frying. Let me see if I can point you a little more. Nope, it won't click without going all the way, guys. Sorry. Alright, so now I'm just going to serve. And I'm going to use, actually, this is like the best whisk ever. I use it all the time. My grandmother gave me my first one. I'm going to need a little more milk. My grandmother gave me my first one. And I've bought 3 or 4 more since that time. It's a Rada whisk, R-A-D-A. Yeah, it's going to take a little more milk. Okay. And I'm just going to sit this down over here so I don't have to try to balance it. And I'm just like getting a sticky, can you see? It's going to be a sticky dough. And I just want to get the lumps out as best I can. And that's where this magic whisk comes in. It is the best for that. Okay, so now I have a greased up muffin tin that I'm going to put the dough into. Let me grab 2 spoons. So I hate to do this, but I'm gonna, because I want you to see what I'm talking about. So I use 2 spoons for this, and I grab up some dough, batter, whatever you want to call it, and I just put it out right like that. And I just keep going until I've used it all up. Now, somebody told me earlier that this is how they make biscuits. This is not how I make biscuits. These are strictly like a dinner roll here. Biscuits are made with butter, not mayonnaise. I mean, these would do in a pinch, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm just going through and doing all 12 holes till I run out of dough. And these will make just some real fluffy, kind of biscuit-like, I guess. Kind of like a cat head biscuit, if you know what that is. Rolls, just so you have a little bit of bread with your dinner, because today I did not bake bread of any kind. I could have made pita, but I thought these rolls made more sense. And I smell my burger, so it's almost time for me to turn it. I use my nose when I'm cooking, so I don't like turn my meat 53 times. I try to just turn it once. Sometimes I turn it twice. Okay, a little more in this one. All right, now all the batter's gone. See, that made 12 quick rolls. And now that pan is hot because I set it on top of the thing. Into the oven it went. And no, it's not preheated yet. But it will be soon. It's not 911. Now I turn the heat down so that I can flip these burgers without spattering you guys. After I get them flipped, I'll show you. See? Okay, I don't want to make a mess, so they're gone. Now, when I'm finished with, let me put some of my mess away. My husband will be so proud of me for putting my mess away as I'm going. When the burgers are done, and remember this is hamburger steak, not for a bun. You can put it on a bun if that's what you want to do, but that's not what I'm doing today. When I'm finished, I'm going to leave the drippings from the burger in to saute the onion, the pepper, and the mushroom in. So as a side dish with this, I had to put my dishes in the sink. As a side dish with this, the burgers will be smothered with the veg. And then we'll also have the leftover mashed potato masterpiece from yesterday. Because we ain't wasting food. Also have some butter out softening. I'm trying to clean up as I go. So in case you wonder why I'm like moving all around, that's why. Making my husband proud. So when he comes home, it doesn't look like I've been cooking. Okay, so you can make those hamburger steaks however done that you like to make them, but for hamburger, if it's not like freshly ground, I tend to do well done, like, or at least not well done, but done. You know what I'm saying? Not rare. Now, if it's freshly ground, I'll make it rare, and they love it. I don't like it, but they love it. Let me see if anybody, you need to get a whisk like that. Yeah, let me show you one. So you saw the one I used. So let me show you how this works. This is a Rita whisk. This is what it looks like. When I want to use it for a dough hook, like if I'm making noodles or bread or whatever, it's going to be difficult. I never have this hard time getting the spring off. There we go. I take the spring off, and there's my, instead of like buying a $15 Danish whisk, I think this thing was like $6 or $8, and it makes gravy, it beats a cake, it does whatever I tell it to do, including being a dough hook. So that's what I use. Okay, let me look at my burgers. Yes, guys, yes. So you see all that great, the drippings down in there? That is going to be what sautés the onions, peppers, and mushrooms. So I'm going to move these over because I'm not trying to, you know, let them get cold. And in this goes beside it. And don't worry, I know it's a pile. It'll cook down. I promise it will. I'm going to put the burgers over here on top of one another to give it a little more room. There we go. Now, I like to just season this. I sometimes will add a little nib of butter towards the end. But I like to season this with just salt and pepper because it is just goodness. And sad but true story, my pepper grinder was my grandma's, okay? The other day, I dropped that sucker on my granite countertop and broke it. I cried and cried and cried. And then I went to the store and bought some already ground pepper. And it wasn't shattered to pieces, so I put it back together. But I can't grind pepper with it. I'm gonna have to get another pepper grinder. So incoming with the pre-ground, and I hate pre-ground pepper, but that's what we're using today. It'll do, right? I think that's going to become my catchphrase. It'll do. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be all right. It'll work. Now, if you wanted to, you could press a little garlic into this. I don't think I'm going to, just because I put a little garlic powder onto the hamburger steaks already. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. I can see the live chat for like a few seconds at a time. Oh, Summer loves hers. Thank you, Summer. I did say cat head biscuit. I'll come back to that in just a second. And well, let me see the rest of these, guys. Okay, cat head biscuit. is Summer. What do you call him a cat head too? Summer's my neighbor. Coal miner's daughter's my neighbor. So a drop biscuit, I guess, is another name for it. It's not a cut biscuit. It's like a real rough looking biscuit. We call it cat heads. I'm not even sure why. Brooklyn, why do we call it cat heads? She doesn't know either. So I could see that one. I'm gonna let you explain that one. So Summer, do you know, why do we call it a cat head biscuit? I have never heard it called anything else. Have you? Okay, what is it? Because of why? Oh, because they're the size of a cat's head. Those won't be what I put into the muffin tin. Won't get that big. But I don't think that's what I thought it was, because they was rough looking like an old Tom that had been out tomming. Somebody probably don't know what I mean by that either. When an old tomcat goes when an old tomcat goes out tomming, he's out looking for a lady, and they get real scruffy looking, and these biscuits do too. Okay, now I'm going to rotate which burger is on the bottom for two reasons. First reason, you don't want that bottom one to get overdone. Second reason, you want to get the flavor of these vegetables on all these patties. There we go. So they're going to be smothered, and I'm going to turn up the heat, and I'm going to cover it a little bit because I really want to get the onions done. And I'm going to take the burgers out for just a second. I won't let them get cold, but I'm going to take them out long enough to really heat these and get them going. So this is a real traditional, I thought the whole world made hamburger steak, but I found out when I said I was making hamburger steak, I got a lot of DMs, and people had no idea what that was. This is, I guess, traditional Appalachian cuisine, probably because it's a poor area, and we don't always have cheese and a bun and tomato to put on it, is my opinion on why it's like why we make hamburger steak. Where is my old, and listen y'all, don't be making fun of me. This is my old Tommy spatter screen, and I use it because I'm turning these vegetables up on high, and I do not want to make a grease mess all over my kitchen. You're going to make the pitas. They're easy. They are so easy. The pitas and the tortillas, in my opinion, are probably two of the easiest breads to make. Just make sure that you have good yeast that's in date so that you don't, waste your flour. Because if you use old yeast, sometimes it's expired and it won't race. I've tested that a few times because I thought I could make it work. Hey, Suzuki. Hey, I live in my house, did you know? in case you weren't aware, you're going to hear noises and sounds that you don't always hear on YouTube's. And that's because I don't lock anybody out while I'm recording. Will you put this away and load that? I think Boppo's home. Let me go look. he's not coming until I'll text him. Yeah, go ahead and tell him it's almost done. Yes, please. Let's get these done. Okay, now, if you wanted to make this into a thickened sauce, you could take, and I've shared before how to make like stock concentrate. You could take beef stock concentrate, right? Probably a tablespoon, and add to this, and then sprinkle in a little cornstarch and, you know, get it mixed in well so you don't have lumps of cornstarch, and you would have a thickened gravy around your vegetables. I'm not going to do that today because Mark asked me to not make it gravy. He said he just wanted it smothered with the mushrooms and veg. Thank you. Sissy's doing dishes for me. Let me show you guys these. These are like, this is how well, how much used these are. I love these spatulas. I have 3 or 4 of those too. And they're from, is that a Pampered Chef emblem? I think it is. My cousin sells Pampered Chef, so once a year I order from her and I get a few things. The stoneware, which is made in America, and I always get one of these, an extra one, because I like to use this when I'm doing, so I have a, in case I haven't used it here in these videos yet, but I have a griddle that goes the entire width of my stove, and it is my favorite thing. But lately I've just been cooking in the cast iron. I should have used the griddle today. I could have made this whole thing go a whole lot faster. I'm going to have Mark put it back on for me. Okay. Yeast is good, and the dough has doubled, divided out. You know, drop biscuit. They do look like an old tomcat's head after they've been out. After they've been out tomming around. Yeah, so just roll it out. You know, you want to get it, so for the pita, I try to get it like about that thick. And I'm going to move this so I don't overheat the phone. I try to get it about that thick, and then I put it in, and you know, that skillet was mostly dry. So it wasn't like covered in oil or anything. Because I'm avoiding added fats and oils myself, and I wanted to be able to eat it. There we go. Okay, I got to check on my quick rolls. Oh yeah, they're getting close. I'll show them to you in just a second. They'll be done. Probably 2 or 3 more minutes. They kind of look like little popover rolls, I guess, is what I would say. Be sure that when you make that, to share it, send me a picture of it on Instagram or tag me in it or whatever. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. It erases as soon as your comments pop up. You love hamburger steak too? Yeah, buddy. I think it might be a southern thing. Yes. I'm trying to brown these up, and I could have done it a lot faster if I hadn't crowded the skillet, but it'll be all right. It's all going to work out just fine. Bippy. Bye-bye. Does it need more salt or anything? More salt? Pepper. Bip says it needs more. And you want pepper? More pepper? My old pre-ground pepper. I'll get me a new pepper grinder as soon as I find one made in America. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna pop these back in. They're still warm, but I don't want them to get cold before he gets in the door. So tonight it's just 3 of us. Yesterday it was 6 of us. Let me go put my dishes over here. Do what, baby? Do what now? Oh yeah, we gotta warm that up. So we're having the leftover mashed potato masterpiece from yesterday, and it's gotta get warmed up. If you didn't catch that recipe live on Instagram before Instagram was stupid, I'm sorry. You'll have to catch it in his cookbook. All right. Let me grab the quick rolls. Are you noticing how that was just one skillet, guys? Not a bunch of dishes to be done. They could use another minute at this site. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. All right, did you get that out? Let me grab. I'm going to show you guys the leftover casserole. There wasn't very much left over because the kids loved it. Okay. This is the leftover mashed potato masterpiece casserole. Let me see if I can show you. You can't see it from the side anymore. And I'm going to put it in the microwave because I can. And I'm not afraid of my microwave. So if you are, you'll want to start rewarming this ahead. I'm not at all concerned. My microwave's not even inside the kitchen. I have to tell you, ever since the other night when the power went out here, there's been this beep. You heard it too? And I cannot find it. I have no idea where this beep is coming from. Okay, I'm turning my eye off. Sitting the burgers over here on top of that so they don't get any more done than they are. They're just going to stay warm. Okay. There we go. Did you tell your dad to come on? we're gonna grab the quick rolls out. There we are. All done. And Sissy has asthma, not the magical unicorn illness of 2019. She had that in December, so she ain't got that again, don't worry. Get away. Huh? Ask where he is, I'll plate it up. Alright, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to plate these up. There's that. There's that. These go over top. And I hear the mashed potatoes are done. Let me go grab those and grab her a roll. I'm just not sure what that beef is. I'm just not sure. Okay. Voila. It looks like a lot because it's got a lot of vegetables. But that will be their dinner. There will be leftover, and she will have the second patty tomorrow, probably for lunch. All right. That's it, guys. Leftover mashed potato masterpiece, hamburger patties smothered with mushrooms, onions, and green peppers, and Granny's quickest roll, which I shared the recipe for on here. Dinner should not be rocket surgery. It shouldn't be the most difficult part of your day. It should be the easiest thing you do when you come home. Does my refrigerator have an alarm? Not the one that's in the pantry. So the one that's in the kitchen does, but the one that's in the pantry doesn't. Yes, I mean, this is honestly, this is what dinner should be. Simple. It should have a meat, vegetables, carb, a heavier carb. Now you know why we're not supermodel skinny. All right, I'm gonna pop off here. This will save, and you'll be able to come back to it time and again. I'll catch you tomorrow live, and we're going to cook stuffed chicken breasts and something else. I forget. I don't have it with me. Let me grab it. Oh, tomorrow is stuffed chicken breast. So we're going to have, if you're going to cook along with me, you'll need chicken breasts that are boneless but still whole. Stuffing of whatever kind you want, whether it's store-bought or you make it ahead, homemade. So you want the chicken breast, the stuffing. I'm going to make it Parmesan roasted potatoes to go with it, and Brussels sprouts roasted, and cooked apples, because there's going to be apple in my stuffing. So if you're going to cook along with me tomorrow, those are the things that we're going to make. And I will probably start tomorrow around 4:30 because it will take a little while longer. All right. Catch you on the flip side.